In today's episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast, I answer all the questions that you guys have sent in, such as, could Cade Cunningham win MVP this year? Should Marcus Sasser be in the rotation? Should we be worried about Ausar Thompson? And is Jalen Duren's jumper real? Among other questions, we'll break it down in today's episode, Locked On Pistons podcast.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I'm your host, Ku Khahil. I've been covering the Detroit Pistons for the last 4 years, been a credentialed media member over the last 3 years, and I appreciate all of you guys who have made Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button at the YouTube channel, or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. I also want to thank you guys for helping make the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network in America. We appreciate all of your guys' support. I'm sure all of my colleagues would say the same thing. And in today's episode, we will be answering all of your guys' questions that you guys have sent me over the last week. I'll go ahead and let you guys know now. This will be a 2-part episode. Part 2 will be dropping right after this one. But it'll probably be around, I'm expecting around 45, 50 minutes, and we'll cut it in half, split amongst 2 episodes. I'm going to answer all the questions. A lot of you guys have asked the same question. So there's, how many questions do I have in front of me that I wrote down that I've seen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 questions in total that a lot of you guys have been asking me over the last week. So we're going to answer all of them. We'll start with, could Cade Cunningham win MVP this year? So if you go over to our friends with FanDuel and you look at the MVP odds, Cade currently has the 3rd best odds to win MVP. He has the 3rd best odds. He's behind SGA, who is the overwhelming favorite right now, and he's behind Luka Doncic, who the Pistons just beat. Nikola Jokic, thank God, avoided serious injury. Now, he's still going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, but thank God he avoided serious injury. But the reason why I bring that up is that he's probably not going to be eligible for any awards, which a lot of you guys actually have asked me about. I shouldn't say a lot of you guys. A few guys have asked me my thoughts on like the 65 game rule. I do want to give my thoughts on that in just a moment. But he's not going to be, it looks like he's not going to be eligible, which means everyone's probably going to move up another spot, obviously. So as of right now, Cade is 3rd in MVP odds. What does he have to do? What does he have to do to actually win MVP? What would actually have to happen? So here are the things I've come up with that I believe would have to happen for Cade to win MVP. Number one thing is the Pistons have to finish 1st in the East. If you look at who's 4th behind him in MVP odds right now with FanDuel, it's Jalen Brunson. The reason why him and Jalen Brunson are in the top 5 is because they're the 2 teams that could finish 1st in the East right now. I don't think many people believe any other team can finish top of the East. At least I don't think so. So the reason why those 2 guys are in, just because they can be, they're able to say we led the best team in the Eastern Conference. So they have to finish 1st. The Pistons have to finish 1st in the East for Cade to even have a chance at this happening, right? That's one. Second thing that would have to happen. This one's stupid, I think. I think it's stupid, but I really do think it would help his case when it comes to the voters. If he actually were to average 27 and 10, I think that would look a lot better. Now, right now, he's averaging 26.5 and 9.7 assists. I think that's just as good. But if people outside of Detroit just look at the stat sheet and the voters look at it and they're like, oh my God, he averaged a double-double, I think that just rings different to them than it does if you look and say, oh, 26.5, 9.7. Like if they said 27 and 10, I think that just rings different. I think that bolsters his case. So I think he needs to just improve his overall PRA numbers just a little bit, which I think he honestly can do, but just a little bit to where it just looks, I get more appealing to voters, I should say. The other thing is, and we have to clap it up for Cade. And God forbid, man, please God, we know that there is such thing as a Ku jinx. We know it. I know it. I'm aware. I am asking God just one time, please. Just don't, I'm going to say this. Just don't jinx me. Don't jinx Cade because I said it. Just don't, please. For the first time in Cade's career, he is over 57 true shooting. This is the first time he is over 57 true shooting in his career. His previous career high was around 56.5. He's at 57.3% true shooting this year. He's having his most efficient season of his career this year. He's getting to the free throw line way more. We've talked about it like last week. We spent like 15 minutes talking about the big improvements he's made as a pick and roll scorer, cutting down on turnovers in scoring situations, becoming a way better isolation scorer, scoring in a multitude of different ways, scoring off the dribble from three, scoring off the dribble from mid-range, getting to the rim more, drawing more free throws, hitting your free, like he's found so many different ways to improve as an overall scorer this year that we'd spent a long time talking about last week. If you want to check out the episode, go ahead. We spent 15 minutes diving into it. He's improved in all these areas. However, what was keeping down his overall efficiency was just his catch and shoot numbers. His catch and shoot numbers, I believe at one point he was shooting 9% on catch and shoot threes. He was in the first percentile. He was literally probably the worst catch and shoot three-point shooter in the league like the first month and a half in the year. And we know that's not who Cade was, because Cade has been a good catch and shoot three-point shooter every year of his career. Going all the way back to his rookie year, he's been a good catch and shoot three-point shooter. So he was just having a rough opening stretch to the season when it comes to catch and shooting threes. Now, over the last 10 games, he is shooting 39.3% on threes on 6.1 attempts. That is much more like it. He has a 60.2 true shooting over the last 10 games. That is much more like it. So if Cade can continue to work that true shooting up, continue to work this efficiency up to where at the end of the year he's hovering around 59 true shooting while averaging 27 and 10, and the Pistons are at the top of the Eastern Conference, then maybe he might have an argument. The other thing that would have to happen here is that the OKC Thunder would have to fall off a little bit. And, you know, fall off is too strong of a term. Not just run through the league like we thought they were going to do, and it doesn't look like they're going to. In the first, 25, 26 games of the year, they were on pace to defeat the Warriors' single-season win record. And it looked like they were just going to run through the league. And there's no way that anybody is going to be able to get MVP votes if the best player, who is also maybe the best player in the league, has an argument for it in SGA, is leading that. He was going to win it unanimously. That's what it looked like. Since then, they've lost to the Spurs 3 times, and they lost to another team once. Now they're just 28-5. Now, saying just 28-5 is kind of crazy because that's still the best in the league. But they're no longer, it feels like, on the pace of 75 wins. Now they're just on pace for another great season that we've seen from other teams, but not like this historically completely set apart season. That was going to make it just unattainable for anyone else to even mess with in regard to the MVP conversation. But now it looks like that maybe they're not going to be on like a 70-win pace. Maybe they just win 65 games, which, again, it kind of does them a disservice. But, that's different. That changes the way people are going to talk about and vote if you were, instead of winning 74 games and breaking the single-season win record. That would have to happen for the Pistons, or for the Thunder, in order for Cade to actually have a chance to win MVP. With that said, do I believe he actually can win MVP this year? Probably not. I don't think it's going to happen. What SGA is doing this year, he's having one of the best scoring guard seasons we've ever seen. SGA is playing the last few years, this year, last year, maybe even the year before that one as well. He is an all-time great. He is playing like an all-time great guard. One of the greatest scoring guards we've ever seen. And while leading the Oklahoma City Thunder to what I believe is going to be the best record in the NBA, it's going to be hard for anybody to take that from him. Anyone. It was going to have to take Jokic averaging a triple-double on some of the best efficiency we've ever seen, and also challenge for the first seed. That's what it was going to have to take for Jokic to even have a chance to take it from SGA. So does Cade have a chance to actually win it from SGA? Probably not. But with Jokic out, and if all those things that I just said happen for Cade, could he steal votes from SGA? 100%. Could he finish top 3 in MVP voting? 100%. All those things would have to happen, though, and even if it doesn't lead to an MVP win, if it leads to him being top 3 in MVP, that is still an overwhelming success and something that really should be celebrated by Cade and the Pistons fan base, considering where they were the last few years. That should not be scoffed at. So, to answer the question, do I think Cade can win MVP this year? Probably not. Can he finish top 3, though? Now with Jokic, probably not going to be eligible. Yes. Could he steal votes? Yes, but those things would have to happen. those things would have to happen. It's probably SGA's award to lose. During basketball season, there's nothing like being in the building, the energy, the crowd, that first big run that gets everyone on their feet. Fans want to be there for those moments, not stuck refreshing screens or guessing what tickets are really going to cost. That's where Game Time comes in. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage back, making it incredibly easy to score amazing tickets. Fast, simple, and without the guesswork. Prices include fees up front, so the total is clear from the start. Features like zone deals help unlock great seats at even better value. Whether it's an NBA game or another live event, everything is right in one place. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today and get in on the action with Game Time. Like that's too much, I think. And the fact that it's tied into like contract stuff, I think that's unfair. Like, I think they need to relook at it, not completely get rid of it, but just relook at it and maybe try to make it a little better. That's my thoughts on that. All right, next question. Should you be worried about Ausar Thompson? Get ready for a rant, everybody. Because a rant's coming here. I think if you are one of the people who say should be worried about Ausar Thompson, you are delusional. You are crazy. You are out of your mind. I think it's a borderline unacceptable question to even ask. Because what do you mean by worried? What do you mean by worried about Ausar? That he's not a good player anymore? Like, what is worried? Ausar had a bad 3-game stretch. He was not good. He was not good against Utah. He was not good against the Clippers. He was not good against the Lakers. He was not good to close out this road trip. Now, I have heard from some people that he was struggling breathing against Utah. I know a lot of fans mentioned that to me as well before I talked to some people, but a lot of fans had already pointed out to me that they felt like they saw him like on his hands and knees struggling to breathe and whatever. I did talk to a few people that told me that, yeah, he was struggling to breathe in Utah. But nonetheless, look, he didn't play well. And he didn't play well against the Clippers. And he didn't play well against the Lakers. So it's not an excuse. You can criticize him. Has he played his best basketball as of late, the last 3 games? No. These last 3 games were his worst 3-game stretch of the entire season. Can you be concerned about, I guess, his free throw shooting? Can you say that the free throw shooting has to improve for him to reach his ceiling, to reach his crazy potential? 100% you can say that. Can you say that he's not a perfect player? 100%. Can you say that he has holes in his offensive game that has to be improved? Yeah, we can discuss that. I think that's overstated to a bit, which we'll get to. But yeah, is that true? Yeah, we can talk about that. Is he a perfect player? Absolutely not. He's not. All those things can be fair and we can talk about. But worried? No. If you're worried about Ausar Thompson, you just don't like him, or you just don't know what you're watching. The Ringer has him as a top 80 player so far this year. They had him at 71, I believe, first, and they dropped him to 75, I believe. I think I had him top 65 coming into the year. I think he's around a top 65 player. But either way, Locked On had him, I believe, 90th or something. I've seen a few other places have him top 80. Either way, let's just say, just for general, he is a top 80 player. Let's say he's a universally accepted top 80 player. There's a few outlets that have him like 85th. Few outlets have him 71st. I had him top 65. Let's just say top 80. He's a top 80 player right now. For the top seed in the Eastern Conference, he is a starter, a plus impactful starter for the best team in the Eastern Conference in the 3rd season of his NBA career. The 3rd season of his career, he is a plus starter on the best team in the Eastern Conference. What do you mean worried? So far this year, let me preface it with saying this. The last 3 games, they have not been better with him on the floor because he's not played well. Criticize him. I'm saying he has not been as good the last 3 games. He has not been good. He has been bad. It's been a 3-game bad stretch from him. That is all true. However, over 706 minutes, the team is 8 points better with him on the floor versus off. This is now 2 years straight of data that showed that the team is infinitely better with him on the floor. That also includes the 2025 playoffs, where they were much better with him on the floor. His first playoffs of his career, the team was 10.3 points better with him on the floor. I did a whole breakdown about how badly Jalen Brunson struggled with him on the floor. Now, Jalen Brunson got him with the last shot. Yes, he got him. But his efficiency was plummeting anytime Ausar was on the floor. He has proven to be a top 80 player and be a consistent plus starter in his third season in the NBA for the best team in the East. That's where I get upset. That's where I want to rant. That's when I get mad. Because what do you mean by worry? That's when I feel like people take it too far. Should we talk about some of his weaknesses? About, okay, can he reach his potential if he's not going to be this good of a free throw shooter? If he's going to continue to struggle from the stripe, how much can JB trust him to close games consistently? Those are fair. Like, those are conversations that are fair to have. That's obviously fair stuff. How much more does he need to provide offensively to reach? I have him top 65. Let's say, how much does he have to improve as an offensive player to become a top 50 NBA player? For him to become this breakout star that I believed he could be. Yeah, a lot of people, which, by the way, I've talked to people, the front office, the Pistons, and they are insanely high on him still. Like, these 3 games have not changed that they are not still insanely high on Ausar Thompson. They are crazy high on him. But are all those things fair to point out about Ausar? Yes, those are fair conversations. But when you say worry, that makes it seem like when the talk I'm seeing around Ausar and some of the comments and throughout some of the Pistons community is like, man, I don't know if we even are good with him. Like, we might have to just get rid of him. He's not good. He's not a good player. We should be concerned about whether he actually is a good basketball player. That's just straight up wrong. That's delusion. And that's just, I don't know what you're watching. None of the numbers back it up. What we've seen this year hasn't backed it up. And this is all just based on a 3-game sample. The first one, he couldn't breathe. It is what it is. But then the next 2, he didn't play well. A 3-game sample that followed the best 3-game stretch of his career. 7 days ago, he dominated the Sacramento Kings. 7 days ago. 7 days ago, he dominated the Kings. The day before he dominated the Kings, he dominated the Trailblazers and had multiple key buckets and multiple key plays to close out the Blazers after they took a 1-point lead in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left. Multiple key plays on both ends of the floor. Put back, steal and dunk, and a cutting layup to give the Pistons a lead and close that out. And then the game against Charlotte, dominated Charlotte. And then the game before that was dominating. Okay, let me not say dominating. But playing extremely well against Dallas, had 8 points in the first 8 minutes of the game, and then got ejected. So he was playing well in that game. And then the game before that, we saw him play on ball and then tell him to play off ball, and he looked great doing that on both ends on the defensive end of the floor. We got to see him dominate on the ball and off the ball. What are we doing? What are we talking about here? He's had a bad 3-game stretch. He needs to be better, 100%. But worried? Are we okay? Are we before this 3-game stretch throughout the entire month of December? He was averaging 13 points a game. 6 rebounds, 3 assists on 55 true shooting, and the team was winning his minutes by 8 points. And by the way, they're 8-2. What are we doing? This is why I get upset. This is why people say, Ku, why do you defend Ausar so much? First of all, he's my favorite player in the team and the person I'm highest on outside of Cade, obviously. But along with that, the dialogue, the conversation around him is so stupid and makes no sense, and is really only pushed by another player's fan base that just wants to put him against everybody and try to minimize him at every single degree. If we want to have a fair conversation about things I guess you should be quote-unquote worried about Ausar with, free throw shooting. Yes, the free throw shooting is a concern. Has to get better. Does he have to be more consistently aggressive offensively? Yes. Those are things we can talk about. Will the free throw shooting make JB less trustworthy of him in closing minutes? Yeah, that's okay. Those are conversations that we can have, because those all start with the fact of, we know Ausar is a good player. We know he's a plus impact player for this team. However, there are weaknesses that we should discuss that maybe can hurt him at certain spots within the game. That's all fair to have. But worried about him being, a good player? No. Are we okay? This is, are the Pistons better with Ausar still? I don't know. Are we on drugs? We have a 2-year sample of them dominating his minutes, and now we're going to abandon it because he played bad in 3 games on a road trip. One of them he couldn't breathe. Are we serious? I had to rant because I had to. Sorry guys, I had to do it. Fridays already feel different during the basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app right before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern Time have become appointment viewing with NBA Happy Hour. It's easy to check out the weekly special before tip off and make a move right before the window closes. It adds an extra energy to Friday night basketball without overthinking it. So, before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. His cutting's great. All this stuff about him is good. The addition with the on-ball usage, he would get the ball more. JB would give him the ball more. He would get more drives to the rim. He wouldn't shy away from contact even as much as he does now, despite drawing free throws, if he trusted himself to hit free throws. So that's what needs to be improved, and that's unacceptable. 100%. That's what I have to say about his offensive game. I don't believe he doesn't have an offensive game. He's a zero offensively. That's not true at all. What is true is the free throws are holding back anything else he does well and is stopping him from being a consistent offensive impactful player. That's the problem. And that's unacceptable. 100%. Next thing I'll say about Ausar, he is the best perimeter defender in the NBA. He could average 11 points the rest of his career. He will continue to be a top 100 player and impactful player no matter what, because according to B-Ball Index, he is the only perimeter guy to be A+ in every perimeter defensive category. Perimeter isolation defense, 95th percentile. Ball screen navigation, the best in the league, 100th percentile. Off-ball chaser defense, 99th percentile. Pickpocket rating, 96th percentile. Passing lane defense, 97th percentile. There's no one else that's doing it like him on defense. I'm sorry. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't, if he is an 11-point per game scorer that doesn't have as much of an offensive game, he doesn't improve to the point offensively I think he can get to, okay, then he may not become the best player that I think he can be. But he will remain a top 100 player, a heavy, impactful player, because he's the best perimeter defender in the entire NBA. That also is one of the best off-ball players defensively in the NBA as well. So that's my answer to, should you be concerned about Ausar? No, you shouldn't be concerned about Ausar. He needs to make his free throws. He'll play better than he was the last 3 games. Should he be worried that he's a good player still? No, absolutely not. And the Pistons are not trading him. Next question. that one was crazy to me. Next question. Marcus Sasser breakout. Should he play? I think he should play. In the offseason, I wrote a long article in the offseason for the Substack talking about whether Sasser really should ask for a trade. And that was the end part of my article. Sasser should ask for a trade because I went into how good he was this past season as a shot creator, as a shot maker. His touch from floater range is legit. His touch at the rim for a guy his size, his finishing ability is legit. His ability to hit off the dribble threes is legit. His ability to hit catch and shoot threes, legit. His ability to create his own shot and hit it is legit. I truly believe. Now, all of it is on a small sample size because he doesn't play as much, but it is on a small sample size, and it is plus the eye test. However, I truly believe he is just an overall elite shot creator. I don't think he's an elite player. I'm not saying he's even an elite role player. We don't know yet. We haven't even got to see him play. But is he an elite shot creator? I think so. And he played utterly fantastic in this past game. He led it in this game against the Lakers. The bench won them the game. Led by Sasser, led by Stu, who, by the way, he's been incredible. We don't really talk about Stu because we kind of just accept what he is, but he's incredible. I mean, he's just been insanely good this year for him. But led by Sasser, and then also Stu, and Javonte Green, and Jaden Ivey, and who's Ron Holland. Those guys were the reason why the Pistons won against them. They dominated. They dominated. And he was a big part of that. And Caris was out, and Caris is going to be out the next game against the Heat on New Year's. He's going to be out. So Sasser's going to get to play again. The question is, should he play when Caris gets back? I think so. What Sasser brings is shooting and shot creation, and I think that's something the team desperately needs. Now, I think they need it a lot from their forward position, and I think that's the more pressing need. But the team in general just needs more three-point shooting. The team in general needs more three-point volume. The team in general, if they could just get someone to add 2 or 3 more threes a game, now he probably won't make 2 or 3 threes again. He probably won't play enough to average 2 or 3 threes again. But you guys get what I'm saying. Just the team in general having a few more threes made changes, how efficient their offense will be. And Sasser is able to do that. Sasser will be able to. He's a great catch and shoot three-point shooter. He's a great off the dribble shooter. He will be able to create that for them. Now, would I love that to be something you get from the forward position? I think that would unlock a bunch of different things. But you need it in general from somewhere. From somewhere you need. Somewhere you need it. And he brings it. Now, look, his size is always going to be a problem. That's something he can't control. His size is always going to be something that limits him on the defensive end of the floor. And maybe, as he plays more, might limit him a little bit offensively from what he can do. We'll have to see. But I've said since the offseason that I think Sasser should get a chance. He should get a chance. He's played well in his minutes. He should get a chance to play. And the elite shot creation and the shooting warrants that, I feel like. And the team needs that. So if I was the coach, and I'm not the coach, I'm not an NBA coach, so I don't need you guys screaming that at me. I get it. But if I was the coach, I would be playing Sasser. And then when Caris comes back, I'm still playing Sasser unless he's not playing well. If Sasser's still playing well when Caris gets back, Caris isn't playing. Now, I know that's harder to do. He's a vet. You can't upset a locker room. I get all of that. I know a lot of stuff goes into it. But just on-court play, like, I would rather have Sasser on the floor if he's still playing well when Caris comes back. Because I think he brings things that they need. And LeVert hasn't been good for a month now. He's been inconsistent offensively, and I understand he gives positional size defensively. And I understand he's capable of being a playmaker defensively as well. He gets a lot of deflections where he's locked in. His length allows him to get some blocks, get some steals. I get that. He's capable. We've seen LeVert at times this year be a defensive playmaker, not just a guy who's a team defender, a guy who is getting deflections and forcing plays on the defensive end. We've seen him do that, but we've also seen him, like this game against Utah, just be completely not locked in on the defensive end of the floor and just not really try. So he's just been too inconsistent, and he's been bad for a month now to where I don't think he should be just guaranteed minutes. And lastly with that, I would also say the Pistons have Cade, they have Duncan, they have Ivy, they have Sasser, they have Caris, and they have Danis. Danis, by the way, reports come out recently, last week, that it's likely that the Pistons give Danis an NBA contract because he's a two-way player, and they only have so many games for him to play before it runs out. So reports recently suggest that they're going to give him an NBA contract. So if you give Danis an NBA contract, you now have 6 guys under NBA contract that operate in the same position and take the same minutes, that all feel like they should play, while you have a weak spot at the forward position. The Pistons need to make a trade with these guys. They need to take some of the depth from here and improve the weakness of another position. They don't need 6. They don't even need 5, to be honest. They don't need 5 of these guys. They don't need 5 players that think they should be playing at the guard position that they're giving contracts to, like guaranteed contracts. They don't need that. That's now you're going overboard. Having 4, 5 at most, you're like, okay, we're deep. We like having that depth. We're good. Then I can somewhat buy that. 6, you're going too far. You went too far, especially when another position is struggling, like I think the forward position is. You need to consolidate some of these guys and go get a 4. That's what I would do. Now, I understand it's easier said than done. Like, I don't know what LeVert's value even is, what you could even get for him or who else, whatever other guard you want potentially look at trading. I don't know what their value actually is. I've said forever I'd love to have MPJ, but I understand that it's probably going to be hard to do, and he's going to probably cost too much for them. I get that. My overall point to get back to Sasser is that you just have too many guards, and Sasser deserves a chance. He's played well, and if he continues to play well and he doesn't play, if I'm Sasser, I'm asking for a trade. I've said this multiple times before when we've talked about Sasser. He is an older prospect. He's not 22, 21 like everyone else. He's not one of these guys that can ride out his whole rookie contract and then leave at 23, 24 years old and still have the rest of his prime left. He's already 25. He's an older guy. Like he doesn't have forever. And if I'm playing well, and even when I'm playing well, when the guy gets back, I still don't get minutes. Like, I'm asking out. Like, I want to play. I'm losing years of my prime. I don't have forever. Send me somewhere else. Let me just go play. So, should he play? I think so. I think he brings what they need. They need his shooting. They need his shot creation off the bench. And I really like his fit with Cade. I think that really fits well. I like the limited minutes, very small minutes, but limited minutes we saw with Ivy. I understand the Lakers defense is terrible and they slow. So, like, it's small sample. So I'm not going to read too much into it. But the early indicators were good. And I really just like Sasser next to anyone who's a big body. Even if you're playing with Ausar. Like, if you want to do that. Like, that works too. I would play Sasser. I would. If he comes back and he plays bad in this next game, then obviously that changes. Like, if he all of a sudden is just terrible, then, like, obviously you don't play him. But what we saw in this one game is not like an isolated event. It's not like, oh, he's hitting threes all of a sudden. Oh, he's hitting shots off the dribble all of a sudden that we've never seen that. No, all that stuff is stuff we've seen him do at a very high level. It's not like it's just an isolated event. I wouldn't freak out over that. It's stuff we know he can do. It's stuff we've seen him do. So, yeah, I would play Sasser and find a way to free up that room and go, take it down from 6 to 4 and go upgrade another position. That's what I think. Going to be it for the first half of the mailbag questions. Stay tuned for the second part. It's coming out immediately after this. I hope you guys enjoyed the second part. Make sure you guys check it out for sure. But I appreciate all of you guys who tuned into this first part of the mailbag episode. Hit that subscribe button at Locked On Pistons if you haven't already. Leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Stay safe out there, and peace out, everybody.